when I'm get to the back, ayy. Got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast, ayy. Let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss, ayy.
Hey guys, before we jump into the episode, I wanted to let you know it is brought to you by Revenova, the official TMS provider for the Freight Coach. You guys, I've been a broker for a long time, and the tools that are at your disposal with Revenova help you eliminate bouncing between systems, which improves your accuracy when you are managing multiple tasks throughout your workday. Plus, it's built into the Salesforce cloud, so your CRM is fully integrated with your TMS, eliminating yet another silo. In today's day and age, you are definitely concerned about the safety of your data. With Revenova, it's fully protected. They have cutting-edge security that keeps your information safe so you can focus on what matters most, and that's growing your business. Speaking of growing your business, with Rate and Lane IQ, you get real-time pricing and route recommendations, helping you optimize costs and improve operational efficiencies, which ultimately helps you make smarter decisions. If you are like me and have recurring shipments from non-EDI customers, they have intuitive cloning features that let you easily replicate previous shipments, saving both shipper and carrier rates with just a few taps. If you are ready to learn more, visit www.revenova.com to request a demo. Just do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agent success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve. So you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We're going to jump right in here, you guys. I got a very special guest for you guys, and we're going to be talking about something that I take very, very seriously inside of this industry, especially as a freight broker, and that's bridging that gap out there between carriers and brokers. And how do we actually make a real meaningful difference and change out there? And this guy is leading the charge with his organization. I think it's an organization now and conference. I got Dan Lindsey with the Broker-Carrier Summit on the show. Dan, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Chris. I apologize for being late.
Dude, you're not a tech company, right? Like things happen.
that is 100% for sure. We are not a tech company.
Dude, it is, man. It's one of those, like, every platform's different now too, right? Like StreamYard's different from Zoom, which is different from Teams. And it's like, you got to jump through so many hoops out there.
Yeah. If you have one microphone or a camera in use by an app or two, then if you go into a different one, it doesn't work and all that. So yeah, it's fun to navigate. Let's put it that way.
Dude, it's got to be less fun than building what you're building though now, right? With everything. And you guys are coming up, second conference here in Orlando. It's in Orlando, right?
Orlando, yeah. October 28th to the 30th, 26 days away. And so this is the last thing I'm going to do before crawling into a hole for the next 3.5 weeks.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I mean, dude, so like, what's this like? How has the system changed? And like, kind of like, what's some of that content? I guess let's start with the content. What are some of those content that some of these guests who are maybe on the fence about coming in, what are we going to be covering this round?
Yeah, so everything that we cover, not unlike what you do on your show, is practical and profitable, right? There's a lot of thought leadership out there. There's a lot of talking heads, and those come with varying degrees of value. Let's just say in the industry when it comes to actually putting those things into practice, into your company or into your daily life. And so, the differentiator with the content that people get at the BCS is it's all practical, it's all geared toward profitability, but it's also geared toward facilitating conversations and relationships between brokers and carriers. And that's the one differentiator that continues to pervade all that we do.
What's some of those things that a lot of the drivers and the carriers out there are, what drives them? Like, this is a pretty open-ended question, man, but like what drives them the most about like the broker stuff of like, why do you guys do this shit? Right? Like, because I think like it's important because, one thing that I see, and again, I'm not perfect. I can only speak for my organization. That is Linkage Logistics. I can only speak for that. But we are, in my opinion, we're a hospitality and a guest service company that just happens to move freight. Because like I have to make sure my customer's taken care of. I have to make sure my carrier's taken care of. And, and I have to balance that out at the end of the day, right? And I know that there's brokers out there who feel like, oh, I pay these guys, they should do what I say. That's not entirely the case at all, right? Like, yes, there's got to be standards and there has to be things, but like you can't just bring these people through the mud and expect them just to keep showing up day after day after day. And, for us, it's like, we're about repeat business with our carriers, right? Like I don't want to go out to the spot market if I don't have to. We have a system in place where we go and we reach out to the guys who've picked up for us in the past, guys and girls. All right. But I just say guys because I'm from the Midwest. We go to the same guys that we normally do, and we run through that list first before we even go out there. And we want to find those guys because I want to work with them. But like, I don't just tender a load over or get a load from a customer and then I wash my hands of it, right? Like we're calling shippers, we're calling receivers, we're verifying everything. Is the product ready? Hey, and it's even if I've delivered to this place 17 times, I'm still going to call them. Even if I know that they're first come, first serve, I'm going to do all of that so everybody's aware of it, right? And then because I want it as seamless as possible for my drivers. When they show up, the product's ready to load. They know that there's going to be tarps, edge protectors, 46,000 pounds, whatever that weight is on that shipment. They know everything. There's no surprises because I hate surprises. So why do I want to make anybody else have any surprises in business? And then calling ahead to the receivers, right? Hey, are you aware of the shipment? Do you have the proper equipment to offload it? And now, like when I'm speaking like this sounds different to some because like I only do open deck, right? Like 99% of our freight, flatbed, step deck, RGN, over dimensional. It's a lot different than going into a warehouse. So we want to make sure all of this stuff is there because some of our product that we bring in, the pieces weigh 10,000 pounds. Not everybody has a lift on site that has a 10,000 pound lifting capacity. So we want to make sure all of this stuff is done because I want to set my drivers up for success and I want to set my customers up for success because I feel like from my perspective, and this is a little bit of a rant here, but 99% of the freight that we're delivering is going to our customer's customer, right? Like that, you're a direct representation of your customer to their customer. So why wouldn't you do any of this stuff? And to me, this is what we do day in and day out, Dan, because like I want my customer to win. I want my carrier to win. And then, yes, I want to win as well.
Absolutely. Well, and that's one of the stereotypes that we are absolutely shattering over here at the BCS and the BCS Freight Network is that for me to win means somebody else has to lose. There are 1,000,001 different ways in this industry that everybody can win. And they all have to do with partnership. They all have to do with trust and communication. Something you touched on that's extremely important is a lot of a mindset when it comes to brokers and carriers. Brokers approach carriers with a mindset of, hey, I pay you money. Therefore, I get to treat you whichever way I want. That's not true because guess what, brokers? The carrier pays you too. Mm-hmm. The carrier pays you in the form of a truck and in the form of a driver. That's compensation, and that's value add that you do not have as a broker. And so we encourage our brokers all the time. Treat your carriers as well as you treat your customers. If you get on QBRs with your customers, with your shippers, get on a QBR with your most frequent carriers you use, or your best drivers, or your most frequent drivers. Give them the courtesy of being able to give you feedback on how you are as a customer. Because guess what? You may suck as a customer.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, that's going to affect your relationship with your carriers, which will trickle upward into your relationship with your shipper customers. It absolutely will. So we encourage that two-way street of, listen, brokers, absolutely treat your shippers like customers, because they are. They pay your bills. But you know what? Without your carriers, your bills still don't get paid because you don't have a service to provide to your customers. So treat them like customers as well. And carriers, especially small to mid-sized carriers, less than 20, 30, 40 trucks who rely heavily on brokers. Treat your brokers like customers. Okay? Be proactive. Take the initiative. Practice your salesmanship on your brokers, okay? Because you'll be able to use that as you scale up and go get direct freight with shippers.
Do you think, like, what kind of led to like that just absolute breakdown in communication that seems like is still going on out here, right? And it just baffles me because it's like, dude, I've been doing this show for over 5 years now. We've been talking about best practices the entire time. And I still see this out in social media. And I know it's a very large industry, right? Like, I'm very aware it's a very large industry. There's a lot of people that are moving freight out there. There's a lot of different companies, a lot of different personalities and everything else that come along with it. But it seems like the animosity has only grown over the years. And especially after this last market shift, I think that, to your point, there's a lot of talking heads who have an opinion that, I mean, I don't align with, right? Like, I don't blast anybody publicly because everybody's entitled to their own opinion on a lot of this stuff. But I feel like there's a lot of shitty information that's still out there at a very high scale. And it's very divisive in the sense of, like, it's not benefiting anybody but the creator with their content, and it's like, right. To me, it's like, man, I'm a capitalist, dude. I like making money just as much as the next guy, but like, I want to keep people in business, right? Because, like, I feel like this industry would not survive without truck drivers, right? At the end of the day.
Right.
And this might be a controversial statement to some out there, but guess what, brokers? We're not as needed as a lot of us think we are. All right. Like, we're not as important to the equation as we think we are. And I say that not saying brokers don't have a place in the market, because we do have a place in the market, but subpar behaviors and strategies out there they don't belong in the market. And I feel like if that's the way that you're going to continue to operate out there, it might work now. And some of you who hear me say this, be like, you've been saying this for a long time. Well, guess what? I've been doing this long enough to know that there are market shifts. There is tightening capacity. And a lot of these things that drivers have to go through are not going to fly in an opposite market than what we're in right now.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and yes, there is a place in the market for brokers. There's a place in the market for drivers, but I will say directly to brokers, you have to earn your place in the market. And that's not going to decrease in importance as time goes on, as processes and systems get more automated, as the connection points between shippers and the driver themselves become more streamlined. I'm not saying the broker role is going to go away by any stretch of the imagination, because people ultimately end up wanting to do business with people. And I'll get to that in a second. But you are going to have to earn your right to be and remain and grow in this market more and more. And something you touched on earlier, in that, you're a capitalist, I'm a capitalist, we're all capitalists, right? But what's better than just sitting behind a desk and making money is sitting behind the desk and making money while working with your partners who are becoming close colleagues and friends, and knowing that you're also helping them make money. Because if you're able to sit at your office and do your job, and yes, run a profitable business, and know that you are having a positive impact on people, that only adds to the experience in your role and in your job, and it can absolutely supercharge your motivation to continue doing what you're doing.
Do you think, I feel like from like a technology standpoint and an automation standpoint, with the drivers out there, how many of them are are nervous about where things are trending, or, are they wanting more tech inside of their operation to automate more, right? Because like, I feel like when it comes down to it, obviously AI is the biggest talking point of every single conference this year, and it's going to be probably next year as well. And, I feel like technology paired with the right individuals is going to make a very profitable organization out there. You're going to see a lot of increase in margins and stuff. But yeah, AI, I do feel this way, will replace shitty behaviors. Like if you're just a bad employee overall, you're going to be automated out of a job at some point, right? Not saying that your job isn't necessary, but it's going to expose a lot of weaknesses out there. And where I want to see, at least for the driver community and the small fleet community, is the right technology that helps them stay on top of their stuff, right? Like stay on top of their paperwork, make sure all of their stuff is in line with, the clearinghouse and all the hoops that they have to jump through just to be able to drive a truck down the road. I think that there's a lot of tech that's going to come in that it's already coming, but like, I feel like it's going to become more readily available for that smaller operator.
Absolutely. Well, that's one of the shifts that we've seen in the last couple of years, up until I would say 2022, 2023. Most of the new freight tech, the innovations that are coming out in the tech space for the freight world, have been oriented toward freight brokerages.
Yes.
And I think that with the advent of AI and with the surge in popularity in the tech space for freight, there have been a lot more options available for carriers, specifically small and mid-sized carriers. There's automated dispatchers that you can use to go out and find brokers and report in your check calls. There's process and systems automators that are out there that can help you consolidate your back office operations. There's all kinds of different things coming out to help the little guy maintain and grow their business. I think that's really exciting. I think that's something that has been overlooked in the last 20 or 30 years. And that has led to some of the frustrations with drivers, specifically as to why do the brokers get all the tech? Why do the brokers get all these new tools that we are now required to abide by or to operate within? It's time for us to have our own.
Let's talk about that for a second, right? Because like there are a lot of rules and requirements that brokers have in place now to just even get set up, right? Like I saw a couple of guys posting about this literally yesterday about the amount of hoops that they have to jump through just to get set up with somebody. And then like they've been set up with these guys in the past, and like now there's like new requirements that come down and they have to like get reset up. And there's just a lot of hoops that some of these guys have to jump through at the end of the day. And, again, I'm not here to mention any names or throw any companies under the bus or anything like that. But I feel like that's one of those things, Dan, where, again, it's not making it easier for them to operate and to find freight and everything else. And I think like, with the amount of rules and regulations that are in place right now, just from the brokers, we're not even talking at the federal level. I feel like it's just going to lead to I don't want to call it a mass exodus, but like, I feel like at some point, man, some of these drivers would be like, fuck this, right? Like, why am I going to continue to do all of this for subpar treatment as a person?
Right. Well, and to be honest, we've seen that. We've been seeing that for a long time where drivers say, hey, the hell with this. I'm just going to get out. Right. For one reason or another. I think one of the things, and every time I talk, whether it's on my show or at a summit or on a call, every time I talk with a tech company, AI comes up, automations come up, and I try and make the point every time that we need to get away from this mentality that technology builds trust. Mm-hmm. Technology does not build trust. Technology can only reinforce trust that has already been laid. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have to lay the foundation of trust, person to person, company to company. And then if you want to put a layer of technology on top of that to bolster that and to firm that up and to solidify that, that's fantastic. But I think what we did during and post COVID is we relegated building trust person to person and company to company to the tech. And we ended up further commoditizing drivers, further commoditizing brokers. Mm-hmm. Everybody became a number. Everybody became a number in an algorithm, that you are either on this side, the good side, or on this side, the bad side. Well, you know what's missing? Us talking to each other face to face and having that personal connection. That's what the BCS actually provides, is that forum. I tell people this all the time. The BCS, the Broker-Carrier Summit, is not the solution to the industry's problems, but we are the ones who are facilitating the solution to the industry's problems, and that's that face-to-face connection.
Do you think that carriers and drivers out there maybe don't have a full scope understanding on why their brokers have certain standards for getting set up with them and continuing to move freight with them, and, insurance requirements? Because there are, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes in, at the end of the day, there's standards that certain brokers follow. And I always try and put myself on the other side here. Like, I get it when a carrier is like, hey, this company sets us up with a new authority. Why aren't you setting us up with a new authority? Right. So I feel like just having that open dialogue out there of explaining what it is that everybody goes through. Because again, like I've said on this show numerous times, I don't think enough brokers actually understand what a driver goes through on a daily basis out there on the road, because they've never been behind the wheel. And again, rightfully so, you're not a driver. But I feel like you should have a very firsthand experience if you're going to expect a driver to do something. You should know exactly what they go through out there and stuff like that. And I feel like, a lot of the conversations that I've had with drivers over the years about why brokers are the way that they are in certain things, it has been eye-opening to them, because they're like, oh, I guess I've never really thought about it that way. But again, there's no hostile environment. It's like, hey, this is just how do we get better as an industry? And that's what I love about what you guys are building at BCS, because this isn't like you guys haven't reached that pinnacle yet, right? Like, you guys are still building this out. You guys are still trying to improve everything. And I feel like it needs to happen as a whole. Just like, and it's got to start with step one, right? Like, if I'm looking at things, Dan, of what's step one, what's that first interaction between a broker and a carrier? It is that load selling process, right? Maybe they're calling in on a load posting. Why don't you post certain weights in there? Why don't you do certain things? I think start there and work your way out. Give people a better understanding.
Absolutely. Well, and it's so awesome. It's like every single time we have an event, I'll sit back and I'll watch the room. I'll listen into the conversations, and there's always, in almost every session that we have, there's always a light bulb moment, and somebody goes, "Huh, I didn't know that. That's why you guys do this." And it comes from getting both sides in the room, having those tough conversations, asking the questions. Hey, brokers, why do you have all these requirements? Hey, carriers, why are you so slow to respond on basic requests that we have as brokers? There are reasons for that. No one gets in. Well, I want to say no one. No legitimate people get into business to screw people over. There are the fraudsters and the scumbags and all that. They're different. We didn't even talk about those.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of light bulb moments that happen, and it results in exciting things. We had a carrier who literally, I think the running track or the running tab for the amount of freight they've contracted with a broker that they met at the BCS in Indy only 4 months ago, I think is over $2 million.
Damn.
In contracted freight, one carrier, one broker, one deal over lunch. So that's one of the biggest benefits to doing business this way and coming to events like this, is that you may start by having a difficult conversation and coming to a better understanding of how others do business, but you oftentimes will leave with business as a result of coming to that understanding, because now you've built that foundation of trust with that broker or with that carrier, and you're able to move forward into opportunities that would not have been available to you at all if you just interacted over a load board.
Yeah, I think that once you start getting into that contracted mindset with a lot of your freight, I think that's when things can really start to change for your organization. And again, like we're always looking like, hey, how can we do more with less, right? Like, we're a startup company. We have no funding. This is all bootstrap. This is all dollar in, dollar out. So we're always looking, how do we do more with less? And we have always found, working with the exact same carriers time and time again on lanes, regions, whatever that is, that just helps us as a broker, sell more and have less time worrying like, shit, maybe is this going to be, are they going to actually show up for this load? Are they actually who they say they are? Once you have that trust built, I don't understand why you go out and look in any other direction, right? Like I'll shout these guys out all the time. We work with this carrier out of Chicago, NVA. Dude, they're probably the best carrier I've ever worked with in my entire career. They run flats and flat Conestogas for us, and their communication is top notch. They are just dialed in, and we only go to them like for 99% of the opportunities that we move with them out of those markets. And then we go with them with every load, right? Like even if it's not a primary market that we work with them with, Dan, we're coming to them first. Hey, any chance you're going to have a truck up in Minnesota? You're going to have a truck down in Arizona, Texas. Where are you at? I want to work with them, right? Because I know it is imperative for me as somebody who is building their business from scratch. I need to have the right carriers on this freight, because most opportunities now, you have one shot, as Eminem says. You got one shot to make it work with your customers out there. Why would you roll the dice with somebody who gives you anxiety when you're just talking to them in the booking process?
Right, especially on that first load. It's a running joke among brokers. The first load is the make or break load with the new shipper. And the first load, something always goes wrong with a new customer. It always does. And so to your point, if you want to risk that on finding the cheapest carrier with the maybe qualifying safety score, with not as many freight guards as disqualifies them almost, or whatever it might be. If you want to risk your customer relationship over that guy, I mean, you're welcome to it. But again, it comes with additional anxiety, additional stress. And I would much rather, as a broker, be able to do what you just said. Is, hey, call up, a primary or a dedicated carrier and say, hey, I have this load, new customer. If we get this load right, there's a dozen others, or there's 50 others, 100 others. Can you do me a solid here and just get this first load off of us? That's so much easier.
Yeah. NVA Transportation Inc. out of Chicago, you guys hit them up. They literally, my girl Veronica over there, they're just dialed in, right? And it's, again, this is just coming from somebody who's moved, I don't know, 20-some thousand truckloads in their career. Take that for what it's worth. When you find guys out there who are that legitimate, right? And it's not just the rate, right? Like when it comes down to it with us, man, strapping, edge protectors, chains, binders, all of that shit that comes along with it. And we know that every time that we send that over, they know exactly what to do. Their drivers are top notch, all of that. It just makes it so much easier to operate and makes you so much more confident on the phone when you're going out there and prospecting new business and everything else, because you know you have a stable of top notch carriers out there that can come and execute upon that freight, right? Because I've said this all the time, Dan, and I'm going to say this again. Like selling's the easy part, right? Selling, cold calling, that's the easy part of this transaction. It's when that execution comes into play here. That's what you're judged on, right? You're not judged on how cool you sound on the phone when you're cold calling. You're judged on the load requirements being met and exceeding expectations with your customers. So why go out there and try and find somebody that isn't going to potentially do a great job, right? Like obviously everybody starts somewhere with it, but when you find those guys, when you find those carriers, you shouldn't be going anywhere else, right? And again, I put my money where my mouth is on this show, you guys, because I'm in the trenches. I'm building a freight brokerage up. This is the strategy that we apply. And as I continue to grow, I'm going to continue to put our revenue numbers out there, you guys, and I'm going to show you this is what we do. So you guys can take all of this information, like I say before every single show, apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business, because what I'm doing is not proprietary. The most successful guys and girls I know in this industry, what they're doing is not proprietary. They are doing the little things right, day in and day out, repeatedly, and executing at a high level for their customers and their carriers. Because again, like I said earlier, you guys, and feel free to use this, at Linkage Logistics, you guys, we are a hospitality company that just happens to move freight. Our guests are our customers, our carriers, our shippers, and our receivers, and we got to make sure everybody's taken care of. And if you don't have a job as a broker, because it's only a matter of time before somebody like myself or others will get in your customers' ears. They're going to take that business from you, you guys. It is that competitive out there in the real world.
Absolutely. When we're in a consolidating market as well, there are brokerages and carriers being gobbled up every day, not for nefarious reasons, because it is getting harder and harder to compete, especially if you don't have your customer service dialed in, especially if you don't have your processes and your numbers dialed in. This is very much a time for everyone to snap into growth mode, not in a reckless way, but in the way you described. You have to be able to fine tune your practices. And one of the things that really prohibits, as brokers, you fine tuning your practices and learning and growing as a professional is when you have to micromanage every single carrier and every single driver, because you don't know what you're going to get. If the more regular carriers you can use and the better quality carriers you use, it actually frees you up more time so that you can work on growing the other aspects of your business. And the same for carriers as well. You don't want to have to be dealing with 1,000 different brokers who have 1,000 different processes and requirements. If you can work with a handful of brokers and know they're going to pay your bills and you'll be profitable, you can then go out and grow your knowledge base, grow your understanding of the industry, maybe learn one or two new things from your CPA or your attorney that'll save you thousands of dollars, that will make you more profitable. There's so much opportunity cost in having to be bogged down in the operations all day, every day.
Dude, I love it, man. Dan, how does anybody reach out to you guys to find out more about attending the BCS, or maybe they just want to get in contact with you?
Yes, if you want to reach out to us, the website is www.bcsfreightnetwork.com. You can join the network. It's free to join. You have access to all of our resources. All of our events that are scheduled are on there. There'll be more events coming up in 2026. Super excited for what we're building over here in 2026. But yeah, bcsfreightnetwork.com, and then you can go on the events tab, sign up for Broker-Carrier Summit in Orlando. There's a promo going on right now, save 30. If you sign up today through next Friday, you can save 30% on registration, especially if you're a carrier. So I know that helps. This market has sucked, so we're trying to help everybody and anybody who can come to the BCS.
Perfect. Dan, I appreciate it. If you guys can't find Dan or the BCS out there, hit me up. I will gladly put you guys in contact with them. But that is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. And if you're feeling ambitious after this one, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because if you saw value, your network's going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang. Window down, yelling out money, anything. Hey, ooh, got the foot on the gas. Pedal to the metal when I'm getting to the